everyone. Welcome to our second session of Cosmo Careers. Today, we're going to be talking all about how to become an editor. I have enlisted the help of two amazing editors. We have Jessica Michault, who has just started at ITP. She's the deputy editor of Harper's Bazaar Arabia. And Jade Chilton, who has many titles that we are going to dive into, but fashion director, stylist, you've been fashion editor as well, I think. What is it exactly that you do, and what is the difference between a style director, a fashion editor, a stylist?
So I was a fashion director at Emirates Woman for 5 years. And then I went on a freelance career. I left that behind, and now I'm like a freelance journalist / stylist / director. It depends what's required really for the job. But I tend to do my main career at the moment is fashion direction and styling.
So what does a kind of typical day in the life of you look like?
For example, yesterday I was at my desk yesterday because I had a bit of a space between shoots. So I'm checking emails, I'm requesting samples, I'm creating mood boards. If I was writing for a magazine, I'd maybe pitch some ideas. So it varies, I guess, day to day. But some weeks I can be shooting every single day. Yeah.
And Jess, what about you? What does a day in the life of you look like at Harper's Bazaar?
It's putting out fires 24/7. It's basically, it's, you know, what needs to be done immediately right now, and also forward planning. So it's everything from finding great writers to assign, copy to great subjects that we need to feature in our pages, making sure that we're on the cutting edge of what everyone's talking about, from, memes to, women in power and women in politics. So it's really, a juggling act of all things, making sure that you have your finger on the pulse of what's happening in the world and in culture, and making sure you have the right voices in the pages of your magazine and the right visuals that tell the stories that you want to tell in your publication.
Did you always know this is what you wanted to do?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
I studied political science in college and wanted to be the mayor of a small town in California. That was my intention. Although politics does play a big role in fashion, I would say. I actually moved to Paris when I was 23 because I fell in love with a Frenchman, got married, and married him and Susie Menkes, my former boss, in the same 6 months, and that was an eye-opening experience to see firsthand what the power of fashion is, to not only talk about where we are as a society today, but also to project where we are in the future. And it really is such a barometer about the culture that we live in and how it impacts each of us every day.
Jade, what about you? What did you do at university? Was it linked to where you are now?
Yeah, so I did a course called Fashion Brand Promotion and then Journalism. But what the beauty of that was that I was able to kind of define what I wanted to do. So you could have gone into graphic design or marketing, and I don't know where it came from. I just wanted to style, so I created shoots. I was doing production, and I look back at it now and think, wow, like I must have known exactly what I wanted unconsciously. And then that led me to get my degree, and then I guess just applying for experience, that's really what catapulted me. Yeah.
What would you say are the biggest misconceptions about this job and this industry? Because I've also had interns that have joined and subsequently quit quite early on because they've quite literally said, this is not what I thought it would be, this is way too much work. And I was like, what did you think it would be?
Yeah, that would be the key for me, I imagine for you as well. It's this idea that it's all Emily in Paris. That is absolutely not what it is. It is very hard work,
If one more person asks me if Cosmo is actually like the bold type,
oh my God,
I'm gonna scream.
Oh my, yeah, no. But it is a lot of grunt work. It's a lot of, I'm going to, for 20 years, I was going to 6 to 8 shows a day during Fashion Month. In 2019, I did 15 fashion weeks outside of the top 4. I'm up at 5. I'm filing stories, 3 reviews 3 hours after a show has happened. It's a deadline 24/7. You're always on call. There is no respite. There is no break. It is hard work.
Every successful editor, stylist I know works incredibly hard, and they give everything. But the positive of it is that we love our jobs, absolutely thrive from it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't. Yeah. So the sleepless nights, working until 2 a.m., it is worth it in the end for me and for my other peers as well, I find.
So what are the top 3 skills, if you had to summarize, that you think someone needs to be in your roles, or that you would look for when hiring someone for a similar role?
From an editor perspective, it's being able to walk into a room of an event or a show and find the story. There's all this glitz and glamour, but you really need to look and speak to the right people and have that ability to find what you're going to write about, what's going to make it different from every other journalist in the room. I think that's a big skill that's needed. I also find being a people person as an editor and a fashion director, I feel like, again, you need to schmooze, you need to ask the right questions, not be confident, be able to speak to every person in the room.
Yeah, I would say, again, because I worked with Susie Menkes from the beginning, I was in this magical bubble of I can call up Bernard Arnault and get a response from him in, 24 hours, where everything was laid at my feet to a certain extent. So I didn't leverage. I would say my biggest mistake was that I never leveraged the network in the way that I should have when I started out. I should have been going out more. I should have been doing more cocktails. I should have been getting names. And then not only just like getting names and numbers, but then maintaining those relationships. And when you talk to successful people in any industry, they talk about that they spend a good 10 to 15% of their day always networking, reaching out, making sure that their connections and maintaining those relationships, not only with the people that are at the top of their field, but I've had people who what we would call like the cravate rouge, or the people who check your ID when you're going into a show, end up being the head of production at a major house and remembers that I was nice to them when they were showing me to my seat or whatever it might be. So, you don't have to be a diva in this industry. You can be a nice person. I would say networking is incredibly important. I think also for me, the key thing as well is finding your own voice and being able to tell storytelling. You have to you have to draw people in with that first paragraph, that first line. And I think that when I'm looking for writers, if you don't grab me in the first paragraph, then I move on.
Please, can you tell us who the most famous person is that you've ever interviewed, styled?
In terms of how many people know her, I would say Janet Jackson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, styling Janet Jackson.
If you're going to go with statistics, it would have to be Kim Kardashian for the cover story.
I think she wins pretty much every statistic.
I think exactly. I think she does. I would say there's so many people that have wowed me, but I would say Tom Ford and Bill Clinton are the two top ones for me.
Thank you for joining us today, and thank you also to our amazing panelists.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.